I don't think there's going to be another game releasing in 2023 that's going to beat Gollum as the worst game of the year. I know Forspoken was really close, but when you've got something like Lord of the Rings at your disposal and you come out with such a terrible product, you deserve to win an award that highlights how poorly you did. And now it looks like they're suffering the consequences because this studio is seemingly giving up on developing games. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and to the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube membership. So starting off with this VG247 article, it says Gollum devs closed. The Lord of the Rings Gollum studio shuttered as Daedalic restructures to focus on its publishing arm. It's also cancelled a new Lord of the Rings title it had in development. Now this is a game that was so massively disappointing to me because I was so excited for it. I was looking forward to this game. I could not wait to play it, and it came out and was a complete and utter mess. I was so sad that they put such seemingly little effort into it because they have Lord of the Rings, right? I'm a Lord of the Rings lover. I love Gollum / Smeagol. I love the story of the One Ring. I thought that this could have been a very unique and cool experience. And when we first saw the, teasers for it last year, there were a few red flags, right? The graphics didn't look great, but they also didn't look awful, especially because they said they still had a lot of, things to do in the game, a lot of polishing still, and they delayed this title several times, but unfortunately the final product was such an underwhelming experience, and now it seems like they are shuttering, the actual game development side of things. It says the company has announced it is closing its development studio and will shift to focus over to its publishing arm. News of the restructuring was first reported by German games industry site Games Wirtschaft, with the article stating that the Hamburg development studio would be closed and 25 out of over 90 employees would be affected. The company did tell the site it would support its former employees by finding new opportunities within its network. So that's good. They're not just like leaving the employees high and dry. They are going to be helping them find, other positions at the company. But to hear that they are giving up on game development completely is hilarious and sad at the same time, right? Because not all of these, developers' careers should be viewed by just this lens, right? Even though this title was god-awful, I'm sure that they still have created decent things in the past, but this game was so bad, they didn't see any future in game development going forward. And to top it off, we have actually heard, previously at least, that they got the money for Gollum 2. So they were supposed to be doing a sequel to this title, which I personally thought was going to get cancelled, but this is just another step forward. Now, I did a full playthrough of this game when it launched, and I was massively disappointed. It is going to most likely be my worst game of 2023. I just don't see anything releasing that could top it for this year, and I don't think I'm going to forget it anytime soon, just because of how bad of an experience it was. But I'm not the only person who thought that this game was terrible. As you can see over on Metacritic, the scores for this are abysmal. This is the PlayStation 5 version, a 34 critic and a 1.1 user score. Heading on over to the Xbox Series X version, a 1.7 user score, and the highest they go are a 2.2. I mean, they really dropped the ball with this title. The graphics were bad. The story was very slow, very repetitive. So was the gameplay. The gameplay itself was not bad, but the problem was it just wasn't polished, right? Because a lot of the mechanics are ones you would see in something like Jedi Survivor. There's wall climbing, there's wall running. There's also stealth in this game, but unfortunately, it just wasn't done. It's like they needed another 2 years on this title to make it run properly, and even then, I just don't see a way that they could have made this a perfect experience, and it is so sad because, again, it's Lord of the Rings, right? You want good Lord of the Rings products to come out, and people online are absolutely roasting them over this situation, and honestly, they do kind of deserve it because this game was just truly terrible. People are saying things like, sounds about right. Tough situation. On one hand, you want to try new things and be unexpected, but on the other, who the heck wanted an entire game focused on Gollum to begin with? I completely disagree with this take. I think a game based on Gollum was such a cool idea. Yes, it's more stealth-based, but you also had a lot of action sequences. I thought that actually sounded really cool because there were a lot of choices in the game where half are Smeagol, half are Gollum. You can go either way, which, by the way, the mechanic to choose if you actually go with a Gollum or Smeagol side of the story was just, it was some of the worst, I don't even want to call it a cutscene I've seen in my life, but they didn't really try anything new or unexpected, which I think was another massive part of the puzzle here, because it really didn't have any new or interesting mechanics. The story itself wasn't awful, it just didn't feel as unique as it could have. They didn't push the boundaries with this game at all, and when it came to the gameplay, again, it wasn't unique. This was gameplay you could find in much superior titles. People are saying things like, make bad games, get what you deserve. Failing upwards has to end. These game studios and movie studios who produce generic stuff or just straight garbage can't continue to do so. People are also saying things like, I wish the dev team the best, perhaps not their best work, but can use it as a learning experience. This is what I said. I don't, want them to be shunned from the industry. I hope that they find other work in the future that they enjoy, maybe projects that they are much more excited for, and I hope they do a better job on those projects that they did on Gollum. But yes, at the end of the day, this is the situation we have ended up with. The studio is now shuttering their game development arm because of how much of a failure Lord of the Rings Gollum was. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.